The following is for informational purposes only and is not intended as legal advice.
Do I qualify for exemptions to the animal food rule? Let's find out what exemptions might be available for businesses that produce feed products covered under the Preventive Controls for Animal Food rule. First, what is an exemption? An exemption means you do not have to comply with all parts of the rule, only certain parts of the rule, called modified requirements. Exemptions are generally based on the size of your operation, your average sales and inventory, the risk associated with the animal feed that you are manufacturing, or whether you are only storing raw agricultural commodities. Exemptions are not automatically given. You will need to have records on hand to prove that you are eligible for an exemption. Okay, let's continue with our discussion of the Preventive Controls for Animal Food rule. If you have determined that your animal feed or pet food products are covered under this rule, now you can find out whether you qualify for any exemptions. There are 3 types of exemptions possible under this regulation. 1. The mixed-type facility exemption. 2. The qualified facility exemption. And 3. The holding facility exemption. We'll walk you through each step in the flowchart to see what exemptions might be available for your covered operation. If you are unsure at any point as we move through this video, stop and go back to review it. A mixed-type facility is an establishment that conducts both farming and processing activities. A mixed-type facility that sells some of its animal feed to other businesses may or may not be eligible for a mixed-type facility exemption, depending on whether its products and processes are among those that the FDA has defined as low risk. Are all of your products and processes low risk? Or are some of them not low risk? Let's talk about what that means. Here are some examples of low-risk products. If you need to review this list in detail, pause the video now. Another consideration is the process used to make the animal feed product. Again, here are some examples. If you want to review this list in detail, go ahead and pause the video here. On the other hand, higher-risk products and processes might include those that have been historically linked with outbreaks or instances of microbial or chemical contamination. Higher-risk products would also include those that have physical characteristics that support the growth of harmful microorganisms, such as high moisture or higher pH, or those that require consistently accurate procedures for formulation in order to assure animal and consumer safety. After reviewing these lists, if you still aren't sure about the risk level of the animal food products you process or manufacture on your farm, visit the Penn State FSMA website to find an expert who can help you. So, even if some of your products or processes are not low risk, then you are not eligible for a mixed-type facility exemption. However, if all of your products and processes are considered low risk, then you should go on to the next set of decisions. Do you have less than 500 full-time employees on the farm? If so, you are eligible for a mixed-type facility exemption. If you have 500 or more full-time employees, then you have one final question to ask. Are your average annual feed sales plus the value of your inventory less or more than $2,500,000? To get your average annual feed sales, simply average the value of all your feed sales over the previous 3 years. Then don't forget to add in the value of your inventory. If your average sales plus inventory are less than $2,500,000, then you are eligible for the mixed-type facility exemption. If your average sales plus inventory are $2,500,000 or more, then you are not eligible for this exemption. But you may still be eligible for the second type, the qualified facility exemption, which we'll talk about now. So, if your facility was not eligible for the mixed-type facility exemption, or if you process or manufacture animal feed at a non-farm location, you could be eligible for a qualified facility exemption. Determining your eligibility for a qualified facility exemption is quite simple. Your average annual feed sales taken over the last 3 years, plus the value of your inventory must total less than $2,500,000. If this is the case, then you are eligible for a qualified facility exemption, and you only have to meet certain modified requirements. On the other hand, if that dollar amount is $2.5 million or more, you are not eligible for the qualified facility exemption and have to comply with all parts of the rule. Proving eligibility for both mixed-type facility and qualified exemptions under the Preventive Controls Rule requires 3 years of sales records to support your claim. So begin collecting your sales records now. Keep in mind that the FDA can remove your exemption if they find you are processing animal feed products under unsafe conditions. And finally, there is one more type of exemption, the holding facility exemption. Holding facilities are farm or non-farm animal feed operations that only store raw agricultural commodities, other than produce, that are intended for animal feed. For example, unprocessed grains. If you fall into this category, then you are eligible for a holding facility exemption. Modified requirements are in place for these kinds of operations. As you can see, the requirements for obtaining an exemption are complex. If you are still not sure where you stand, go to the Penn State FSMA website at extension.psu.edu/FSMA to learn details about modified requirements for each type of exemption and how to find an expert who can help you.